Okay, all right. So initially we discussed some angles, then some circle properties. Then yesterday we had discussion about bearings. We have also discussed the sine rule and cos rule. And the sine rule and cos rule were basically two rules for triangle, right? And I've told you guys we have a variety of triangles, right? We have scalene triangle, where all the sides are unequal. Then we have isosceles triangle where two sides are equal. Then we have equilateral triangle where three sides are equal. And then we have the right angle triangle. So we have a few, yes, the sine rule and cos rule are certainly applicable on the on the right angle triangle. But right now, we are going to discuss some formulas, some properties that are only applicable on the right angle triangle. Okay. So this is what we need to talk about. Now, right angle triangle is not a separate topic. Like if you guys are consulting some book or stuff like that, this is basically a topic that is part of geometry. It is a topic that is part of trigonometry. And you can also say that a few properties that we will see here, we will understand here would be used in mensuration as well, right? So this is something that's very, very important. Sabse pehle to, what exactly is a right angle triangle? So let's make one. I am going to make the right angle triangle now. Okay, this is a right angle triangle. Okay, similarly, I'll make another right angle triangle. This is also a right angle triangle. Okay, and if I make something of this type, this is a line, this is another line, and here's the third side of the triangle. This is also a right angle triangle. Now, what is making me say that this is a right angle triangle? Right angle, right? Basically means 90 degrees, okay? So this basically means 90 degrees. If a triangle has an angle that is equal to 90 degrees, which would be denoted this way using the square, this basically means that it is a right angle triangle. And just because of the appearance, we are never ever going to think that yes, it is a right angle triangle. Never ever do that. The properties that we will use here initially would look complicated, but then I'll make some helping words and I'll tell you how to memorize those. Then students are, very, very comfortable with those properties and they try using those properties for every triangle. You cannot use the properties I will write down after this for every triangle. They are only for the right angle triangle. Okay. Acha. Let's write down the properties first. Okay. Let's write down the properties first. Okay. So the properties are sine theta is equal to perpendicular over hypotenuse. Everything would get clear, just relax, okay? Cos theta is equal to base divided by hypotenuse. And then tan theta is equal to perpendicular divided by base. Now, those who are looking at it for the first time, it's completely fine. Everyone, everyone has to
Uh,
look at it for the first time. That's fine. But you guys would be familiar with
Teacher,
sine, yes.
I think I did this in physics.
Yes, 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 yes. That is certainly possible. Okay. Acha. You guys would have seen sine, cos, tan on your calculators, at least the buttons, like, right? Sine button, cos button, tan button. Now, what exactly is this? It's very easy. Don't worry. First of all, let's just learn a way to memorize this. What is the way? So it is sum people have curly brown hair through proper brushing. Okay, this is basically a line that is used to write it down. So some means sine, people means perpendicular, have means hypotenuse, curly cos, brown base, hair hypotenuse, and then through is tan, proper is per, and brushing is base. Okay, so this is a helping word. I'll again refer to this, but before that, let's see what exactly is sine, perpendicular, hypotenuse. Okay, perpendicular, hypotenuse, base. These are the three things that would be very, very unknown. Sine, cos, tan are there on your calculators. Okay, we know how to deal with them. Perpendicular, hypotenuse, and base are basically the three sides of the triangle. Okay. Now let's just keep one triangle for our reference. Let's talk about this one. So for instance, this is my triangle, okay? Let's say this is my theta. This is my theta, okay? What is theta? Here is theta, here is theta. So this is my theta, okay? How do I label these sides now? Now I can do that. The side, yes, yes, exactly, Bipesh. This is also a way of memorizing it. It's exactly the same thing, okay? Acha. The side opposite to this right angle triangle is what? This is something that we already know. It is the hypotenuse side.
Hypotenuse.
Very good, very good. Okay, so it's the hypotenuse side. Very good. Okay. The side that is opposite to this theta is this side, and what is its name? It is called the perpendicular side. Okay, it is the perpendicular side, and
It is also sometimes called adjacent.
adjacent. Yes, but that it depends. You're right, but for these formulas where we have hypotenuse, perpendicular, base, we are going to stick to these words. Okay, it's also called the opposite side at times, but we are just going to stick to this sine, cos, tan. Okay. Bipesh, exactly. In your formula, the way you have seen this formula, that O is basically coming for opposite side. So we are basically saying that the opposite side is perpendicular, okay? And then we have another side that is between theta and this right angle, and it is called the base. Acha. Now we have a right angle triangle, and every triangle has three sides, okay? The side that is opposite to this 90 degrees is hypotenuse side. The side which is opposite to this theta is perpendicular. And the third side that is between theta and the right angle triangle is basically your base. It is basically the base. Okay, one second. Yes, Ariba, you can also use this. Okay, SOHCAHTOA is also used, and if, here basically instead of writing down perpendicular, you can write down opposite. It's equally fine, right? You can remember this word, or you can remember some people have curly brown hair through proper brushing. It's your choice, completely your choice.
So,
Okay.
ma'am, the opposite and perpendicular are the same, and base and adjacent are the same words
Yes. One
to
second.
describe.
Let me look at it. Uh, so it is. Yes, 100% right. Okay, 100% right. You're right.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, right. So those who are looking at it for the first time, please stick to my way of doing it, because I will be using perpendicular, hypotenuse, and base every time. Okay, Acha, because you know those who are looking at it for the first time might get confused. So I won't be talking about too many terms and conditions. Acha, this is what I know. Now, where exactly do we use these three equations or these three formulas that I've written? You can use these three equations in order to find theta if that is unknown, or if any side is unknown. Okay, let's talk about a few examples and then things would get clear. So let's say that this is a triangle, and let's say this side is 9 centimeters and this side is 10 centimeters, and you need to find the hypotenuse side, and theta is 40 degrees. Okay, so theta is 40 degrees, base is 10, perpendicular side is 9 centimeters. I need to find hypotenuse. For now, I'm pretty sure you guys obviously would not be able to memorize the formulas immediately. So let's have a look at these formulas. Okay.
Ma'am, we
Now,
can also use Pythagoras too.
yes, yeah, you're right, but I'll talk about that later. Okay, you're right. Very
Yes.
good. That's right. Excellent. Okay, I need to find the hypotenuse side, so I can either use this or I can use this because this ratio does the last ratio does not have hypotenuse in it. Okay, so I will use sine. Sine. Some people have. Okay, so some people have. We know three words now. I'll make the ratio. Some people have. Okay. Sine theta. What is theta? Theta is 40. Perpendicular side is 9. And the hypotenuse side is unknown. So I'll write it down this way. Now I'll take hypotenuse on the other side. And this is going to give me 9 divided by sine 40. Now we need to use our calculators. Take out your calculators. 9 divided by sine 40. Close the brackets. And this is going to give you 14. So this is 14. Okay. This is 14. Very good. Excellent. Okay. Well done. Okay. Let's talk about another example and then things would get even better. Let me make one triangle here. Acha, it is mentioned that this is right angle and this is 30 degrees and you have this side. This side is, let's say, 7 centimeters and you need to find this side. Okay, now this is comparatively difficult. Okay, please pay attention. Sabse pehle to I need to understand that which side is hypotenuse, which side is perpendicular, which side is base, just so I can use the formulas. Okay, so what is this unknown side that I need to find? This,
Hypotenuse.
very good.
Hypotenuse. Yes, sir.
Very good. Okay, this is basically the hypotenuse side. So I'll write HYP here. Okay, which side is given? Side opposite to theta is given. This is my theta. If I'm taking this as theta, if I'm considering this 30 degrees as my theta, so the side opposite to 30 is basically this side. Okay, so the side opposite to theta is basically the perpendicular side. So this is my perpendicular side and the side that is between my theta and right angle, it is basically called the base. So this side is base. Okay, so I need to find hypotenuse and I have perpendicular. So what equation should I use? Hypotenuse and perpendicular. It is the first one again. Okay, so again I am going to use this first equation. What is the first equation?
Ma'am, sine.
Very good. Sine theta is equal to some people perpendicular have hypotenuse. Perpendicular means 7 centimeters. Hypotenuse means it is unknown because I don't have hypotenuse again, and theta is basically 30 in my case. Okay, so again, hypotenuse side is basically equal to 7 divided by sine 30. Please use your calculators and tell me the answer quickly.
14 again.
Very good. Well done. That's 14. Okay. 14 centimeters. Excellent. This is correct. Okay. Let me give you another question. This is 15 centimeters and this theta is 25 degrees and you need to find this x centimeters. Okay. Yes, do not unmute and say anything. Just try doing it. Try finding x and then I'll see if you guys were able to understand the concept or not. And I am going to just move it above just so you guys can look at all the helping identities. Okay. Here. You need to find x and you need to find y. Very good, Ariba and Bipesh, excellent. And Taha, your answers are correct. Very good. X is right. Now find y. Urva, Noor, all of you can do that. Just give it a try. Everything is written right in front of you. Very good, Kabir. Okay, Bipesh has given the value of y. Ariba has also given the value of y. Very good. Okay. Acha, let's see. Let's find y only. Okay. Now, what is the case? X and y and 15. I don't understand anything this way. First of all, I'll spend 1 minute or so quickly to label sides. Side opposite to theta. Theta is 25. Opposite side is this. It is basically the perpendicular side. Side opposite to this right angle is this one. It is basically the hypotenuse side. Side that is between theta and 90 is basically my base. Now I have the hypotenuse side and I need to find the base. How do I do that? Through, okay, this is tan perpendicular base. This cannot be used here. I will use cos, okay? So cos theta is basically equal to base that is unknown divided by hypotenuse side that is known. Cos 25 would be multiplied by the hypotenuse side that is 15 and this is equal to my base. Use your calculators. Cos 25 bracket close and then multiply it by 15 and this is going to give you 13.59. You can also write it as 13.6 centimeters and this is the correct answer. Very good, Taha, Kabir, well done. Okay. Now these are three, three helping equations that we use in this case. Now let's say, imagine one last thing and then we'll talk about past paper questions because that is more important. Let's
मैम
say, yes,
मैम मेरा 13.4 आया है
13.4, okay, आपने cos 25 into 15 क्या था?
नहीं मैम मेरा कुछ और था मेरा असल में मैंने कोशिश की थी लेकिन मुझे लाइक आई डिड नॉट अंडरस्टैंड लेकिन अब आगे समझ
अच्छा, ठीक है, तो बेसिकली यहाँ पे हमारे पास वन सेकेंड, लेट मी जस्ट get everything back. Okay, basically I did this. मैंने y find करना था. Y was basically the base and the unknown thing was hypotenuse. So base and hypotenuse. I'll write these three helping identities in the beginning of the question exam में and then I'll see base hypotenuse नहीं, base hypotenuse yes. तो मुझे समझ में आ गया कि मैंने cos use करना है, ठीक है? Cos theta is equal to base divided by hypotenuse. Cos theta is 25 multiplied by the hypotenuse side that is 15 and this would give you base. So just use your calculator and do cos 25 into 15. Okay?
ठीक है मैम गॉट इट
Okay, perfect. After one last thing, how do we find angle using this? So that is also important. Now let's say that we have two sides. For example, this side is 15 centimeters and this side is 20 centimeters. Now the next goal is to find this theta. सबसे पहले तो I need to see which two sides are given. मुझे नहीं समझ में आ रही 15 20. What is 15 20? The side opposite to theta is basically perpendicular. So perpendicular side is given and the side between theta and 90 is given, that is base. The base and perpendicular are given. This means that I will be using this and this time around I would use this in order to find theta. So tan theta is basically equal to perpendicular, and perpendicular is basically 15 centimeters divided by base, that is 20 centimeters. Then theta is equal to, when I will take this tan on the other side, it would become tan inverse of 15 divided by 20. What is tan inverse? We don't know. Take out your calculators. You can see the tan button. Just press shift tan button and then do 15 divided by 20 and bracket close. And this is going to give you 36.869 degrees. So this means that theta is equal to 36.9 degrees, and this is the correct answer. To use these properties, either perpendicular, hypotenuse, or base should be present, right? Yes. Yes, obviously. Like if you have a situation, we'll talk about past papers in a minute or so. If you come across a question that is a right angle triangle, okay, one of the sides and theta would be given, trust me. And obviously, it's maths, right? So if you're using one equation, you need to have two things at least, just so we can find the third thing. Okay, that is obviously mandatory, and it would be given, and only then we can use this. Okay, acha. Any confusions with this? Please tell me quickly. Those who were not able to understand.
No, my
No
mind.
confusions. No confusions.
No confusion.
Noor, what about you? Noor, Bipesh, Hassan.
No confusions.
Okay, अच्छा ठीक है. तो basically ये तीन formulas हैं for right angle triangle. Other than this, we have another formula that is basically the Pythagoras theorem. This is what Adiba mentioned. Pythagoras theorem would only be used to find an unknown side. Okay. So again, let's say we have a right angle triangle of this type. This is my right angle. This is the hypotenuse side. Let's say this is the perpendicular side and this is the base. Okay, how is the Pythagoras theorem? How does it work? I'll tell you. Okay, Pythagoras theorem basically says square of this side, that is the hypotenuse side, is equal to the square of other two sides. Okay, so other side is perpendicular and other side is base. So perpendicular square plus base square. It's very simple. In Pythagoras theorem, you can see we have three sides. So this is only going to be used in order to find any unknown side. If two sides are given, you can plug in the two sides and find the third one. What is the formula? Hypotenuse square. What is hypotenuse? Side opposite to 90 degrees is equal to the square of other two sides. Okay? Now it is not important if this is base or if this is perpendicular, if this is base or this is perpendicular. You're only supposed to keep hypotenuse square on one side and then the other two squares on the other side. That is it. So you only need to recognize hypotenuse side. Hypotenuse would be the longest side and hypotenuse would be the side that is opposite to right angle. So if we practice a question quickly, let's say this is 10, this is 5, and you need to find this. So how do I do that? This time around, I do not have any theta. So I cannot use, some people have curly brown hair through proper brushing. Okay, sine, cos, tan cannot be used because they require theta. I need to find an unknown side. I will use Pythagoras theorem. So this is the hypotenuse side. It is the side opposite to right angle triangle. Hypotenuse square equals, I can think about it as any side. Okay, so let's say I say that this is the perpendicular side and base is 5 squared. I'll take 5 squared on the other side. So 10 squared is 100 minus 5 squared is 25 equals perpendicular squared. And in order to find the perpendicular side, I'll take the under root of this. Under root 75 is basically going to give me the perpendicular side. And then we will use our calculators in order to find it. And that is going to be 8.66. Okay. So 8.66 centimeters is basically my perpendicular side. So let's be quick. Let's make it quick. We have learned two things so far. The first one is the three ratios, sine theta, cos theta, and tan theta. How do we remember them? Through this word or whatever word you want to remember, any line you want to remember. I've written the formulas. That is the first thing. The other thing is the Pythagoras theorem. And Pythagoras theorem is basically used to find the unknown side of a right angle triangle. Okay. Never ever use Pythagoras theorem for any other triangle. It is only applicable for right angle triangle because you need hypotenuse, and hypotenuse is the side that is opposite to right angle. Okay. All right. So that is it. Now let's talk about some questions in order to practice the concept properly. Acha. I'll come back to this later on. First, let's do some practice. Okay. Acha. This is basically a past paper question, and it says, in triangle ABC, AB is equal to x plus 2, AC is equal to 2x plus 3, sine ACB is equal to 9 by 16. Find the length of BC. Okay. Acha. Now just stay calm and focus. And this question is basically for 6 marks. Okay. So this means that if you feel like that it's a complicated question and you need to do a lot of working, that is absolutely fine. Okay. All right. So this is going to be my hypotenuse side. I can see that this is a right angle triangle. That is my hypotenuse side. Okay. Now the other thing is, where is my theta? So it says sine ACB. Okay. So I've told you guys the center one is basically the theta. This is my theta. The side opposite to theta is basically perpendicular. And then this is base. Okay. Now they have told you that sine ACB is equal to 9 by 16. Let's try writing down sine theta in terms of perpendicular, base, and hypotenuse. Okay, I know that some people have, that is it. This is the sine formula. Perpendicular side is basically x plus 2, and the hypotenuse side is basically 2x plus 3. And we have been told that sine ACB, I've written theta here, and my theta is basically angle C. So sine ACB is basically equal to this, and mathematically I've been told that it is equal to 9 by 16. So I'll equate it to 9 by 16. And what is this? This is basically an equation that has fraction in it. Now, how do I simplify? At this point, I need to cross multiply. That's simple. We know what is cross multiplication, and we know when exactly do we do cross multiplication. Let's do the cross multiplication. X plus 2 would be multiplied by 16, and 9 would be multiplied by 2x plus 3. Now, those who are weak at algebra, please pay attention. This 16 is written outside these brackets and it is being multiplied. So it would be multiplied with x and it would be multiplied with 2. This would become 16x plus 16 multiplied by 2 would be 32. Then this 9 is being multiplied with the bracket. So this is 2x and this is 3. 18x plus 27. Okay. Now I'll take this 16x on the other side and I'll bring this 27 on this side. So 32, it was plus 27. Now it would become minus 27, and this is equal to 18x minus 16x. 32 minus 27 is 5.
5.
Very good. So
Yes.
5 is equal to 2x and x is equal to 5 by 2. So that is 2.5. This means x was equal to 2.5. And finally, I know what exactly is perpendicular and what exactly is hypotenuse. Okay, look at it. X has turned out to be 2.5. So the perpendicular side was x plus 2. This means it would be 2.5 plus 2. So this would make it 4.5. Please find the hypotenuse side quickly by plugging in x.
8.
Very well
8.
done. Okay, excellent. So when I will plug in 2.5 in this x, this would give me 8 centimeters. Now, what was the question? I had to find BC. I have the perpendicular side, I have the hypotenuse side, and I still don't have the theta. I can find the theta, but let's not make it more complicated. We have just studied the Pythagoras theorem, and it is used for finding out the unknown side. What was the theorem? Hypotenuse square is equal to the square of other two sides, perpendicular square plus base square. So 8 square equals 4.5 square plus base square, because this is unknown. Now I'll take this 4.5 on this side, and this would become 8 square is 64 minus 4.5 square. Do it on your calculators. This is going to be 20.25 equals base square. 64 minus 20.25 is 43.75 equals base square, and finally base is going to be root 43.75. So it is going to be 6.61. Very well done. So this means that BC is basically equal to 6.61 centimeters. And I'm pretty sure this question was certainly difficult, I agree, and those who were not able to understand, that is completely fine. Okay, I was expecting this, so let me explain this again quickly. Acha, this was the question. There was a triangle, we had ABAC, and this was given. ACB is equal to sine ACB is equal to 9 by 16, and you had to find BC. So in short, we had a right angle triangle. Two sides were given this way or the other, and one side was completely unknown. So I thought about hypotenuse, I thought about the Pythagoras theorem, but in order to use the Pythagoras theorem, I need to have the perpendicular side and the hypotenuse side, and at this point they were unknown, like they were in terms of x. So step one was to find this x. How do I find this x? I use this helping stuff that was given in the question. They told that sine c or sine ACB is basically equal to 9 by 16. So if I keep c as theta, it would be sine theta would be equal to perpendicular over hypotenuse. Perpendicular side was basically x plus 2, hypotenuse was 2x plus 3, and this sine was basically equal to 9 by 16. So this was in terms of x, and this is what I got in the question. After cross multiplication, I just simplified, did some basic mathematical steps, and I got x equals 2.5. Using this x equals 2.5, I plugged in this x over here, and I got the perpendicular side as 4.5. Initially, it was somewhat unknown, okay? And hypotenuse as 8 centimeters. And now when I had two sides, the third was unknown, I just applied the Pythagoras theorem, and I was able to find the unknown side. Yes, now you can ask me whatever you have in your minds.
Can we directly consider AB as 9 and AC as 16?
9 and 16. Acha, okay. That is a good question. That is a good question. Wait 1 second. It is some people have the perpendicular side and the, yes, you could have done this that way as well. That is also fine. But I'll tell you the thing. Basically, if you take 9 by 16 or if you take 4.5 or 8, they are the same. How are they same? I'll tell you. So if you have 9 divided by 16, and if you have 4.5 divided by 8, in maths I can multiply anything with 1, right? I can do that. So if I say, if I multiply it by 2 by 2, 2 by 2 is 1. So mathematically that is correct. This is also going to give me 9 by 16. So you could have used this as well. That is also fine. You are right. That is also fine.
Okay.
For this part, yes, for this part you could have used 9 and 16 directly, but in this question the other parts were basically about finding x and stuff like that. That is why. But he is right. His query is basically this, that can we directly consider 9 as the perpendicular side and 16 as the hypotenuse side? And I would say yes, that is completely fine. You can do that. Yes, any other thing?
No question for me.
Okay, and what about the other students? Anything that you would like to ask?
No, ma'am, no questions.
No, miss.
Okay. All right, okay. Yes, okay. Acha, let me just erase this part. Okay. Now we have another question, and this question says, the diagram shows a right angle triangle with sides 5, x plus 3 and 2x plus 3. Show that this is equal to 0. Now, where exactly did this come from? Like, we are clueless, right? So, how do we do this? Now, what I can see is that in the question, I have x, and here we have x squared. So, where exactly were we squaring things in case of a right angle triangle? Can anyone tell me?
What was that theorem?
Yes, that is a question from you. It
Pythagorean
was,
theorem.
yes, you are right. Very good. Very good, Taha. It's fine, okay? So some people call it Pythagoras, Pythagorean, like they are the same thing. So like at your level. So this was the theorem, and using this, I know that the square of hypotenuse side is basically equal to the square of other two sides. Now, this is my hypotenuse side. Now, I don't have a base or perpendicular side because I don't have any theta, but that is fine. You can consider any side as perpendicular and any side as base. That's completely fine in case of Pythagoras theorem, okay? So 2x plus 3 squared is equal to perpendicular. I'll take x plus 3 squared plus 5 squared. Okay. All right. Now, does anyone know कि ये कैसे expand होता है? How do we expand this?
Yes, ma'am, we will use the identity.
Okay, and is there anyone who is not familiar or aware of that identity? Let me write it here. A plus B whole square. The identity basically says, please pay attention. If you have two numbers which are being added and if you have a square outside it, how can we write it down? We write down the first number, we square it, plus 2 multiplied by the first number multiplied by the second number plus the square of this one. So you can consider it as a formula, but this is basically an identity. So for now, you can use it as your reference directly, okay? 2x plus 3 whole squared would become the square of first number plus 2 multiplied by the first number into the second number plus the square of the second number equals again the identity first number square plus 2 multiplied by the first number into the second number plus the square of the second number plus 5 squared would basically be 25, okay? 2x squared is 4x squared plus 2 multiplied by 2 is 4. 4 multiplied by 3 is 12x plus 9 equals x squared plus 2 multiplied by 3 is 6x plus 9 plus 25. Okay, I'll cancel this 9 with this 9 because I have two 9s on both the sides, so they can be cancelled. And I'll take everything on this side. 4x squared, I'll take this x squared on the left side, 4x squared minus x squared. Then we have 12x minus 6x. And then this 25 would come on this side and it would become minus 25 equals 0. And finally, 4x squared minus x squared, both terms of x squared, so I can subtract it. 3x squared, both terms of x, so I can subtract it. Plus 6x and then minus 25 equals 0. So this is the answer and this is what I was asked to prove. Yes. Any confusions in this thing? This was the last thing. You can ask me as many questions as you have.
No confusion.
Please be honest with yourselves, okay? All of you.
No confusions.
Urva, are you sure? Is it okay? Hassan, is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So I suppose that this should be okay then. And then this is one last question for you guys. It's a 1 mark question. I think all of you can do that. Just do it quickly. Let me just explain this. It says Sydney draws the triangle OP1, P2. Okay, the names are complicated. Just forget it. OP1 is 3 centimeters. P1, P2 is 1 centimeter. This is 3 centimeters. This is 1 centimeter. This angle is 90 degrees. Show that OP2 is root 10 centimeters. You need to find this side and just show K it is equal to root 10. You can do it quickly. Two sides are given and one side is unknown. So make it quick, okay?
Ma'am, I have done it.
Sorry, say it again.
Ma'am, I have done it.
Very good. It should be root 10. Root 10, okay? Taha, is it root 10?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Excellent. So we have used the Pythagoras theorem, right? You will square the two sides, 3 squared plus 1 squared, and this would give you the hypotenuse square. This would be 10 equals hypotenuse square, and hypotenuse side is going to be the square root of 10. That is what we were asked to prove.